"What do you mean?" Quinn asked. "If you want to find out the truth, here is my advice. This is what you need to do. You need to tell me the truth, Peter. Why did you kill him?" As Quinn asked this question, he bit down on his thumb using his fang. He then lifted his hand, and like some type of magnet, Peter was attracted to it. Peter immediately leapt up from where he was and started to suck on Quinn's thumb. The connection between the two started to grow stronger again, and both of their eyes started to glow. "Now, tell me, why did you kill that student?" Quinn again used that authoritative voice. Peter's eyes lit up red and felt an urge to answer truthfully. It was like a magic truth spell. It forced Peter to be truthful with his master. "Earl, if it was anyone that deserved to die, it was him. Any day whenever I was on my own and when your backs were turned from me, he would come to torture me. After I met with Duke, I got rewarded with the ability books, but he didn't get anything from Duke, so he wanted to take out his anger on me. But this time, I finally had the power to fight back, so I decided to show him he can't mess with me anymore. Eating him was just a little bonus, and I might have overdone it a bit." Hearing the truth come out of Peter's mouth made Quinn feel a lot better. "Peter, your actions aren't wrong, and if I was in your shoes I would have done the same thing," Vorden said. "But here is where you and I are different. Your actions also put Quinn in danger. If you're caught, there is always a chance that it could lead back to him. And what's even more dangerous is that we are involved as well." Vorden glared at Peter before continuing. "I plan to take my revenge on Duke and Momo in our second year, but when I do, I will do it carefully so no one else gets hurt." "System, is there any way for Peter to stop consuming meat? Any way at all?" Quinn asked. "Of course there is, but you're not going to like the answer I'm about to give you," the system said. "Just like yourself, when you consume blood, you grow stronger. The same goes for Peter when he eats human flesh. Although for him there is a limit. Eventually he will grow so strong that he will be able to evolve and will no longer require human flesh." The next day had arrived, and the usual suspects were inside the same room once again, all deciding on what to do with Peter. "So, do you feel hungry right now?" Layla asked. "Not any more than usual when I wake up," Peter replied. Vorden and Quinn had already bought plenty of raw food for him to eat, and for now, it seemed to have been working in suppressing his hunger. "Guys, relax," Peter said nervously. "I promise, as soon as I get hungry again, I'll let you guys know straight away." "Still," Vorden said, "that doesn't solve our problem of feeding you when you do need to be fed. We may have gotten away with it this time, but we need something consistent." Quinn had thought of these suggestions early, but once again the system had informed him of bad news. The meat being used had to be fairly fresh. The pressure was getting to Quinn. "Quinn, relax," Vorden said. "I have an emergency if it comes to it. For now, spend your day like a normal person, while Layla and I will try to come up with something. If it doesn't work out, then we can use my backup plan." "What is the backup plan?" Layla asked. Vorden then called Quinn over and whispered into his ear while looking at Layla out of the corner of his eye. "Vorden, I can't let you do that," Quinn said. "As I said, only if it comes to it. It's the only thing that won't put us in any danger," Vorden replied. There were plenty of cases where soldiers would get injured in mock battles or out on expeditions during portal training, and sometimes there would be lethal damage. But while Quinn was outside, he decided to stop off at a certain spot. Quinn needed to make sure he was fine first. "You are being hit by direct sunlight. All stats will be reduced by 70%. Shadow equip," Quinn called out. The shadow started to wrap around his whole body this time, and a few seconds later, the black suit that Logan had designed covered his entire body, and the demon-like mask was planted on his face. "You are no longer being affected by sunlight. All stats have returned to normal." With his white glaring eyes and demon-like mask, then the red claws ran up the side of his arms. He truly did look like something out of a kid's nightmare. After testing out his new suit, he put it back away in his shadow void and decided to start heading towards the hospital. In nearly every corner of the room, there was a round object with a blinking red light. They were cameras. This was a major problem. If Quinn or the others were to try to take anything, they would be caught on camera. And he couldn't use the suit, otherwise when he would reveal himself, everyone would know it was him. There was the option of using a shadow cloak. Although that made him invisible, the same couldn't be said for the objects he or others were touching. With nothing else to see, Quinn decided to head back, although while doing so, he couldn't help but notice all the blood bags around him. Just as Quinn was leaving the hospital, a voice message seemed to appear on his watch. Quinn Talon, you are to report to General Nathan's office immediately. If you are not here in the next 30 minutes, then we shall have guards come and escort you here immediately." The message ended, and Quinn couldn't help but feel nervous. Had they found out about him being a vampire? Or maybe Peter had been found and he had been ratted? He stood in front of Nathan's office and gave a knock before entering. "Come in," Nathan said. As Quinn entered through the door, he could see Nathan standing there with Haley and Faye in the room. But that wasn't what worried him. The person that worried him the most was the female who sat at the desk in front. It was a person whose abilities could tell if one was lying or not. "Please, Quinn, take a seat," Nathan said. "I'm going to head out for a bit. There's something I need to do, just in case we can't come up with anything," Vorden said. "Do you mind telling me what the backup plan is?" Layla asked. "Trust me, even if you did know, it wouldn't be possible for you, and I don't think you would want to do it." "Why don't you try me?" she said with a smug look on her face. Vorden then walked towards the door to leave the room where Layla was standing, and as he walked past, he whispered the plan into her ear. After hearing Vorden's plans, her eyes opened wide and her face dropped to the floor. At that moment, her whole opinion of Vorden had changed. In fact, what he said was true. If it was her in this situation, she was unsure if she could do the same thing. With Vorden gone to make sure his backup plan was ready if all else failed, Peter and Layla were left alone in the room together. As the two of them sat there awkwardly in silence, Layla was starting to miss the crazy boy a bit. At least he was a conversation starter. All the pain he had suffered from Earl had gone just like that, in an instant. If Quinn had this power all along, why didn't he do anything? Peter thought to himself. It's a waste on him, Peter thought. As they continued to do their own thing, a rumbling sound was heard. It immediately made Layla jump from the bed she was on and look for the door. "Peter," she eyed him warily, "you're not getting hungry, are you?" "I think it's starting," Peter admitted. Although Quinn said it was unlikely he would get hungry within one day after feeding, there was still a possibility that something could happen today, which meant Vorden would have to make sure his backup plan was ready each and every day. As he opened the door, though, he was surprised to see Layla standing in the corner of the room while having her bow pointed at Peter. "Whoa, what is going on here?" Vorden asked. But before either of the two could say anything, a message was received on Vorden's watch. "Vorden Blade, you are to head to Nathan's office immediately. Judging by your location, you should be able to reach us in 5 minutes. If you are not here, then prepare to face the consequences." "What is this about?" Vorden said. "You heard the message. I've got to go. And you two, stop fighting and make up. We have enough problems as it is." "No, wait!" Layla cried, but the door had already shut, and Vorden was rushing off to the office. "I'm sorry, Peter," Layla said. "Let's just keep it like this for now. I'll stay by the door, and if anything happens, I'll leave first." "Well, why don't you let me head over to the fridge and see if I can try to make the hunger go away?" Peter asked. Layla took a deep breath before replying. "Fine." Using her telepathic ability, she opened the fridge door and pulled out a piece of meat for Peter, making sure Peter kept his hands up while she was doing this. After seeing what he was capable of and what happened to Earl, she wasn't taking any chances. "Quinn, where the hell are you?" Layla thought. "Now, Quinn, I'm sure you're thinking why we called you here, right?" Nathan said. "Well, as you may know, there was a death yesterday, and we're trying to find out who's responsible." "Wait, you're saying it wasn't a beast?" Quinn said, trying to act surprised. "Well, it might be, who knows? All we do know is there have been quite a few cases like this before. However, death seems to be following you around lately, and we need to know if it's bad luck, or maybe it's someone with bad luck that is following you around. So please, if you could touch the pretty lady's hand, we can begin the questioning." Quinn obeyed the order dutifully. At first, there was no reaction as the woman had yet to activate her ability. All Quinn could hope for now was that they would ask him simple questions like last time. But this time was different. It was the second time he was being interrogated, so they must have found some type of link, linking him to the others. But the truth was he really did have no clue about what happened to Brandon. He only knew about Loop. "Now, Quinn, do you know the truth of what happened to Earl Hampton yesterday?" the lady asked. This was it, Quinn thought. Her hand started to glow, and energy started to enter Quinn through his hands. Then a message from the system appeared. "An ability has been detected. User's mental strength and charm is strong enough to block the ability. Would you like to block the ability?" To his surprise, a new message had appeared, unlike what happened last time. It was an unexpected but welcome result. It seemed like the charm stat was becoming more useful with every new problem he faced. The issue now was if he blocked the girl's ability, would she be able to tell it was blocked? After confirming with the system that he wished to block her ability, Quinn answered the question. No. She then let go of Quinn's hands. He's telling the truth, she said. The reason why she believed this was because of how her ability worked. It couldn't actually tell if someone was telling the truth or if someone was lying. The ability could actually only determine if someone was lying. The interrogation went on after the girl touched Quinn's hands again. Nathan was asking Quinn questions about the missing students from before, and eventually this line of questioning led to the bite marks. Quinn answered the questions he could as truthfully as possible, but whenever he wanted something to stay hidden, he would use the system to block the girl's ability. All right, the interrogation is over, Quinn, Nathan said. It seems like you were innocent, just like we thought. Oh, then why did you try to question me? Quinn asked. Just to be absolutely certain, Nathan replied. Then, a few moments later, a knock at the door was heard. Come in, Nathan shouted. Vorden had walked through the door, and to his surprise, Quinn was there with them. Please, Vorden, is it? If you could sit in this chair, we would like to ask you a few questions.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.